I'm Cameron Dryden, and I'm here today with Mitchell James Kaplan, reviewing with him his book, Into the Unbounded Night. The book recounts the fictional tale of a girl from a British tribe. She's brought to Rome as a slave after seeing her village sacked and is later sent to Jerusalem on a holy mission, just as the Romans begin its destruction. She encounters many recognizable personalities along the way. So, Mitchell, what inspired you to tell this story?
The thought arose in my mind, the question arose in my mind, how did this happen? How did Judaism and Christianity come to diverge so much that by, let's say, the Middle Ages, sometime in the Middle Ages, they were seen as antithetical? And kind of took over my life. I wasn't initially thinking there was a novel there, but then these characters started speaking to me.
Into the Unbounded Night is an epic novel, as your earlier book, By Fire, by Water, is also fairly epic. Elements of culture, religion, and they span a wide geography. What drives your interest in those kinds of epic stories?
I know that I'm obsessed with identity, and I believe that identity is the crux of the problem, whether it's today or in the first century or in the 15th century.
So there are three unique ideas I'd say your novel brings up. I'd like to explore them a little bit. So the first is when you refer to Jesus, you refer to him as Joshua. Tell me a little bit about why you chose that.
The name in Hebrew is Yehoshua, and it's the same for the Joshua of the Old Testament and the Joshua of the New Testament. It's just that at some point, going from, I guess it's going from Greek into Latin, and then from Latin eventually into the King James Bible, it becomes Jesus.
And I suppose hence the reason that when he lived, people expected him as the Messiah, in the sense that they knew the Messiah, the Joshua of old, would be a conqueror, a military conqueror. Another interesting decision you make is to refer to God as an entity. Say a little about that.
The unity and invisibility of God are the most important features of God in the Old Testament. And, it's absolute sacrilege to talk about God in the plural. And yet that is how God is spoken of in the Hebrew Bible. Why do you think that is? Well, because Elohim, the plural of the noun, is the only way to spell that noun in Hebrew without giving it a gender. In the novel, I had to choose between referring to God, in the classical ways as a he or as a she, or as an it, and I decided on it. I thought it was the closest thing I could do.
I think that really Unbounded seems like an apt title. I think you write with the safety off. You give us the perspective of many different characters, people. There's an angel in one of your protagonists, and then at a certain point, even you take us into the mind of an animal. How did you come to write with such freedom?
And I've tried with Into the Unbounded Night in particular. My objective from the very beginning was I wanted to write a poem. I wanted to write a book, a novel that was like a poem, where every sentence was as clean as it could be, as refined, as pure, and that the whole thing would fit together in a suggestive, connotative image, full of imagery. Words have a power, and imagery has a power. And I don't take credit for it. It's not that I don't want to claim some special connection with some kind of, spiritual beings. I just think that as you write, and as you continue writing over years and refining your approach to writing and developing your style and the way you think about what writing's supposed to do, the way that as you refine your approach to writing in such a way that it moves you the most that it possibly can, when you're in the moment of writing it and then rereading it and reworking it, there's no way to pin down exactly what the criteria are, but you know what's good and you know what isn't good. And again, it develops over time. It's something with me in any case that has developed over time, this sensitivity to what I know. When I know that I've written a good sentence, I just know it. And if it isn't there, then it needs more work. And honestly, as I was writing this book, I've never been a mystical person. I'm kind of I take the world of our waking perceptions very seriously, but I started to really believe in angels. I started to really feel the presence of it as I was immersed in this way of relating to the universe. And I still do. It changed me. Writing this book changed me.